Some of these I actually kind of want to go see in theaters because I haven't seen them in a theater since I was a kid.
All right, like what?
Toy Story.
Toy Story. Okay. You say classics, and I think black and white Mickey Mouse.
No, 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 no. I mean, maybe they'll show some shorts ahead of time. That'd be kind of cool, like they used to do in the movies.
Yeah,
Yeah, so Toy Story, the OG Lion King.
those are the first two movies I saw in a theater.
Lion King is the first film I remember seeing in a theater. I'm pretty sure I saw one of the Ninja Turtles, but I it's could just be, not a real memory.
Well, if you did and you were too young to form a memory, shame on whoever brought you to a theater. Don't be bringing kids to theaters if they can't be quiet for 3 hours. America.
And speaking of being quiet for 3 hours, do you want to get started?
3 hours from now, yeah.
All right, hit that intro.
It was supposed to be a fast forward noise. That was terrible.
Two friends named Cory and Steve like talking about films and TV. They thought, hey, what if this was a show? That's how we got here, now you know. Wait, what's the name? That sounds terrible, go on. That sounds terrible, go on. We hope you stick around and have some fun right after our intro song. That sounds terrible, go on. Welcome back, folks, for the fantastic episode of That Sounds Terrible, Go On. I am your host, Cory.
And the role of your co-host, Steve, will tonight be played by Steve.
Wow, Steve, I am shocked, surprised, a little bit of appalled, but a lot more turned on.
I'll take it. And it just so happens that not only am I playing myself, today is all about people playing themselves. That's right, folks. We are bringing back our top 10, and today we have each picked a top 10 list of celebrities playing themselves in media. It's going to be a good time.
That's right, Steve. We all love a good cameo, but we also love when celebrities are able to poke fun at themselves by generally playing a satirical version of themselves, or they're playing themselves as this is exactly how I'd react in this situation. It's a fun time for audiences. Everybody loves it. If you don't love it, you're clearly not everybody, and that's okay.
Yeah. It's, I'll be honest, it's a gimmick, plain and simple, but it's a gimmick that gets me every time. I love it. I am a sucker for celebrities lampooning themselves. And, maybe it's all just a really complicated PR move, but guess what? It works. It's classy when you're able to make fun of yourself and not take yourself too seriously. Definitely a few people on at least my list you would expect to take themselves more seriously than they end up doing. ... You're intrigued.
Steve, I am kind of intrigued at this. I'm really curious as to what your list is going to pertain. And do you know what else, Steve? It makes me just wonder, don't I know you?
Don't you?
Let's find out.
Let's.
That's right, folks. I've got the questions here this week. And kicking off, Steve, we both have a bit of acting experience under our belts. Now, with that being said, who would you want to be casted as if you were chosen to portray them in a biopic, living or dead?
To portray someone else. Oh, okay. That's a great question. Let me get a good look at myself and see what I look like. Okay, I appear to be a bearded man. Who could I play? This is a good question. It's tough. Thinking some kind of old-timey, stuffy... No, actually, I got it. Yes, I'm set. Largely because I am going prematurely gray myself, I would want to play Steve Martin in a biopic about his life.
Ooh, I can see you with a banjo.
Right? And, I'm a little bit of the jerk, so it's perfect.
You grew up a poor black child?
Didn't you? Cory, who would you want to play in a movie about their life?
For me, I've actually thought about this for many, many years. And if the opportunity ever arose, I would love to play Chris Farley in a biopic.
Love that for you. You got the energy. You got the charisma. You got the chutzpah.
I'm here for it, man. I'll shave the beard off for that role. Like, I'm telling Hollywood, if you're listening, give me a call when this happens.
Hells yeah. Love that for you. Yes. Van down by the river.
Question 2. Now let's flip the script. Let's see what I see what I did there.
Oh.
Yeah. Now, if you had to choose an actor, living or dead, to play you in a biopic of your life, who would it be?
Okay, this is what I thought you were asking the first time, and this is one that I've thought about. And if there's a movie made about my life and age is not a factor in actors, I want Zachary Levi to play me. We got similar bone structure, got similar build, and we both have this sort of awkward but fun vibe to us. Beard or no beard, he is my absolute choice. TV's Chuck.
Politics aside.
I don't why.
Oh, you don't know.
What did Zachary Levi do?
Mm,
What did he do, Corey?
he's liked a few transphobic tweets.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I've heard some interviews where he said some things.
oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Corey, who would you want to play you in a biopic? Please pick someone more problematic.
I guess it really depends on what you would consider problematic, but I think I would actually go with a Rochester native, who is currently dead. Maybe he won't be in 5 years, but Philip Seymour Hoffman for my adult years at the very least.
Strong choice.
Kind of thinking like same similar build and probably someone who can absolutely capture the mental struggles that I went through throughout like my life in my late teens, early to mid 20s. I think he'd knock it out the park.
Hell yeah, he would. Rest in peace, Philip Seymour Hoffman. You're a real one.
Question 3. Steve, we are now full blown into the summer season, and that means heat wave season is also upon us.
Oh yeah.
It's going to beg the question, Steven, what's a movie you like to watch during a heat wave?
Ooh, during a heat wave. Oof.
You're inside, that AC's blasting, it is so hot outside, you can see it. You got to throw something on that's going to get you just in the right zone.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. You got good questions this week. I love that.
I have good questions every week. Thank you.
I'm trying to make it special and stall. Um. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna pick a movie that I actually just watched last night and will continue to watch over and over again because it's just amazing and fantastic and does kind of deliver some of the cool in a way, and that would be Tron Legacy from 2010. One of the greatest movie scores of all time. Shout out Daft Punk. The visuals are amazing. It mostly takes place inside a computer, which cold, unfeeling. There's a lot of blues in the color scheme, so you get that sort of just cool ambiance, and that's good enough for me. Great film, super fun. Aside from Uncanny Valley, Jeff Bridges, it's aged wonderfully. Corey, what movie are you putting on in a heat wave?
Easily one of my top favorite heat wave films, 1993's The Sandlot.
Oh, so you're doing movies that are heat, and I did a cool movie. Interesting.
Well, I think like it just kind of puts me in the element, like when growing up, being outside because it's summertime and it's the 90s and your parents are like, get out of the house. Yeah, but TV. Yeah, but get the hell out of the house. I don't care how hot
Yep.
it is outside. Get out.
Yep, I remember those days.
It just brings me back to that simple time playing with neighborhood kids, or neighborhood kids are throwing rocks at you, whatever your upbringing may or may not have been.
What's the
It's just
difference?
therapy tomorrow. But it just kind of brings me back to a simpler time. Honestly, watching that film is really just like a big hug. And it's a perfect summer film. And what better time to watch a summer film other than during a heat wave?
Well, you got me there. It's what I consider to be one of two quintessential Independence Day movies. One, obviously, being Independence Day. Episode 59.
And now, Steve, I know you.
And I know you.
Now, before we get to our next segment, we actually have to talk about something a little serious here. So, with these top 10 lists, we get a little competitive here,
Yeah, but me more so.
Definitely me more so. And I can say that because I'm going to be the one editing. So, if you say otherwise, I'm just going to edit it out.
Oh no, but now they'll never know.
No, that being said, we have been tracking every time we do a top 10 list because we pass it on to you folks, the listeners, to go onto our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube page and leave a comment just telling us who do you think had the better top 10. So the results are in from the last one.
Yes.
It is another tie.
Whoa.
So to give the breakdown with this, I've won 3. Steve has won 2.
Yay!
The guests have won once. And now we have 2 ties.
Oh, man. Good thing we got 2 nets between us.
Guys, we're going to have a commercial break right now. I need to think about what Steve just said. It kind of hurt my brain. Don't go anywhere.
I do it again.
All right, folks, I am here at Goblin's Den Tattoo out in the lovely Syracuse, New York, being currently inked by Leah, owner, operator, and a fantastic individual. Leah, how are you doing today?
We're doing good. We're doing good.
Doing really good, doing good. Am I doing good? Am I sitting good?
Yes.
Excellent, fantastic.
We're both hydrated.
That's the dream. Let's be honest here. So how long have you been tattooing for?
I have been tattooing for technically 5 years.
So tell me, what are your favorite tattoos to both design and put on people's bodies?
I think the biggest thing for me is for someone to be really inspired with their idea, really excited. That's always a plus, and not just like a last second kind of deal. Something that you can think about and be like, yep, this is how we're going to do it, critique it, special, all that jazz. But personally, when it comes to style, my drawing style is preferred anime, but I do like cartoons. I do like spooky, scary stuff. I like plants and stuff. A lot of people come to me for floral. Yeah, so I like more animated stuff that can be stylized. Kind of neo-traditional, but not so out there.
Well, you heard it here, folks. If you're looking for any of those kinds of styles or designs, you know exactly where you need to hit up. That is Goblin's Den Tattoo out in Syracuse, New York. What's the Instagram name?
Instagram name is Goblin's Den Tattoo. Same for Facebook. We're currently adjusting our social medias and getting them more active. So Instagram, Goblin's Den Tattoo. Facebook, Goblin's Den Tattoo. And my name is Leah Tran, if you're trying to look for me personally. We also have another artist, Sid, and Sid is also on there as well.
And folks, the Goblin's Den Tattoo is also a safe place for those of you who are LGBTQ+. So if you're looking for a shop that's both safe and not run by pieces of human garbage, then we can give you the guarantee that the Goblin's Den is the destination. Again, that's the Goblin's Den. Find them on Instagram or Facebook and book your next session today. Welcome back, folks.
Welcome back!
All right, folks, we got a top 10 list we got to get to. Come on, these stars got places to be. They're only on set for like half a day. Let's keep it moving, all right?
Yeah, that's right. All right, everybody. Back to 1. Go.
All right, folks, let's kick off this top 10 list of top 10 celebrities playing themselves. Number 10.
Coming in at my number 10 slot is Jack Black in 2011's The Muppets. This is a star-studded movie with cameos left and right, but only one of those goes to therapy with, gets kidnapped by, and is forced to perform with the Muppets. At first, you see him as Animal's anger management buddy, and you think, oh, cute, they're pals, they're helping each other, and then, he's gonna be gone. And what a fun little thing for Jack Black to come into. But then, they track him down later, they kidnap him, and that's when the fun begins. Throughout the whole show that they're putting on to save the theater, Black is just begging to be rescued, but everybody thinks it's part of the act and just continues to laugh at him. And he's stuck with his captors, hating every second of it. It is beautiful. You can't go wrong.
Love me some Jack Black.
Samesies. Cory, what's number 10 on your list?
Number 10 for me, Steve, is going to be Stan Lee in 1995's Mallrats. So in this, Stan Lee, obviously playing himself, is visiting a mall doing a signing where he runs into one Brody, played by Jason Lee. Jason Lee is just recently went through a breakup, trying to understand why she would break up with him in the first place. And then he runs into his idol, Stan Lee. Now, Stan Lee tries giving him some relationship advice, but Brody just wants to ask about the Hulk's dick. It's absolutely a delightful scene. I think, if I remember correctly, this is Stan Lee's first like acting role. Like he had like a good chunk of like 10 whole minutes, I think, on the screen with Jason Lee. He is just as charming as he's ever been. It's a great and memorable scene, really helps move the plot along. A great film too. Let's just be honest here. So yeah, I feel like if we're gonna start paying some tribute to some legends, Stan Lee is himself. He did it before the MCU was a thing. Just saying.
Well, debatable. I mean, Captain Marvel, he's on the train reading over his script for Mallrats, so who's to say Mallrats doesn't exist in the MCU and did the whole time? Maybe it's a snake devouring its own tail.
Capitalism, baby!
Ayo! Yes, excellent choice. Stanley is a delight, and we should cover Mallrats at some point because I have not seen it.
Yeah, I think we should. Maybe next month.
Maybe.
Number 9.
Coming in at number 9 is Matt LeBlanc in the show Episodes. This is not a one-off. This is the entire show. He's one of the 3 main characters as himself. So let me break it down for you. A husband and wife writing team's award-winning highbrow English comedy show about an elite boarding school is being adapted into an American sitcom. Much to the writer's chagrin, the studio forces them to cast none other than Matt LeBlanc in the starring role. LeBlanc obviously got famous for playing a dumb person, a reputation that the writers are well aware of, but once they meet him and start working with him, they see that not only is he incredibly charming and intelligent, he's also manipulative, self-serving, and self-destructive. Sometimes he's their friend, sometimes their enemy, but he's always entertaining. It's a really good time to see Matt LeBlanc be smart, be evil, be conniving, be manipulative. It's super great. And also, it earned LeBlanc a Golden Globe for playing himself. I'm sure if you pulled up a list of Golden Globe and or Emmy or Oscar winners for people playing themselves, that would be a very short list, but Matt LeBlanc would be on it.
I gotta be honest, I have not seen a single episode of Episodes. I need to get on it. I know I need to.
It's worth it.
That's what everyone tells me, but I still haven't seen a single episode of The Sopranos either, so.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen that either, so we're together on that.
We just lost 5 viewers.
We had 5 viewers? Hey, Corey, what do you got coming in at number 9?
My number 9, Steve, is going to be Gary Coleman in The Simpsons, Season 11, Episode 9, Grift of the Magi. So this is a Christmas episode of The Simpsons, and it has to do with making fun of Furbies and how they're actually spying on you and the whole 9 yards. And what they do is Bart and Lisa track down where these toys are made, and they go to infiltrate the office to confront the CEO, president, whatever, typical Simpsons cartoon, whatever fashion. The security guard outside the office of the CEO and president is played by none other than Gary Coleman as himself. It's great. He is just eating up the entire scene. At one point, he's like on the phone and he's just like complaining about his Chinese food to the Chinese restaurant. And Bart and Lisa are like kind of huddled, like hiding from him. And Lisa is like, come on, let's go. And Bart's like, hold on, I want to see where this goes. And she just pulls up the cord of the phone and goes, it's not even plugged in.
Amazing.
Absolutely hilarious. At one point, he's literally doing like karate kiyas and punches and kicks, just all by himself, not for anyone in particular. To me, it's one of the funniest Simpsons cameos, but it's one that always sticks with me. He's my favorite cameo just because of how ridiculous he gets with it. He has no shame. He's not like, I'm a real actor or anything like that. He just went in and was like, let me be weird with it. And he sold it 110%. So Gary Coleman has definitely earned my number 9.
Amazing. I love that. I'm going to have to watch that episode.
Number 8.
Coming in at number 8 for me is Matt Damon in Entourage. Season 6, Episode 12, Give a Little Bit. Okay, so Damon is famously passionate about charity, especially when it comes to access to clean water. Like, we've all seen him go on, interview shows, promotional events, what have you, and that's always what he wants to talk about. It's his whole thing, and Entourage really steers into that. So in this episode, our leading man, Vince, gets strong-armed by Damon, with a little help from Bono, into making a really big donation to his charity. He's just so serious and impassioned every time he just says, It's for kids, Vince. Come on. It's for kids. And just like relentlessly bullying him about this and being like really mean and trying to guilt trip him. It's amazing how seriously Matt takes the role in just trying to convince this one celebrity to give more than $10,000 to his charity. And they never tell him an exact amount. They're just like, don't be cheap. It's so much fun. Also, a little bit later, Damon also employs LeBron James to continue to strong arm Vince. It's delightful. He also leaves a really bizarre voicemail for Vince, just going on a monologue about it. It's excellent. You know, Entourage definitely has its problems. It is a guilty pleasure show for me, but it's full of celebrities playing themselves, so I can't help it. Cory, what have you got for number 8?
Coming in at my number 8, I've got Mike Tyson in 2009's The Hangover. Now, before anyone wants to jump at me, yes, I am putting his performance in this over his performance as himself in the Mike Tyson Mysteries TV show. And here's the reason. Mike Tyson would not be the man that we all know today, at least in the public eye, without this appearance. This is what got him started doing like film roles and people showing he's got a comedic side. He starts getting interviews about this. He starts able to show everybody like, listen, I was a very angry person when I was younger. I was just surrounded by people who would only feed into that anger and tell me, just do whatever you want. You're a monster, blah, blah, blah. He has a lot of, expressing all the regrets he had growing up and the things that he's done, really showing to me that people can change. So not only is it a very funny cameo, it's a super important one to show that human nature can change if you just want it to. And you gotta love a good story. I'm really, really happy that he turned his life around. Because for those who don't know, Mike Tyson was a gigantic piece of human garbage back in the 90s. But this was a big, big turning point for him. And I'm very happy to see it.
Also, we get to see him do air drums and punch a guy in the face.
Who doesn't love that?
Right? What more could you want?
Number 7.
All right, it's time for everybody's favorite segment of the show. That's right, it's the Untitled Ben Affleck 7.
Did you think long about that one?
It was actually a coincidence. Coming in at number 7 for me is Ben Affleck in 2001's Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. As much as Cory hates this movie, I love it, so deal with it. So as if the concept... I don't hate that.
Hold on. We're going to fight now. I don't hate that movie.
You don't?
You're thinking of Colin.
Oh, I am thinking of Colin.
Colin hates that movie. I love that movie.
Shout out Colin. I love Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and so does Cory. Come at us.
Fight us about it, Colin.
And by fight, we mean hug. As if the concept of Good Will Hunting 2 hunting season wasn't funny enough, complete with Affleck, Damon, and Van Sant, we get to see Ben's character Chucky shoot the snob in the bar with a shotgun, delivering the iconic "applesauce, bitch." Also, they establish that the security guards at the studio have a code for a dead hooker in Affleck's trailer because it happens so much. And all of this culminates when the guards come on set looking for Jay and Silent Bob and mention that they have a 10:07. His delivery is absolutely perfect when he says, "No, bullshit, because I wasn't with the hooker today. Ha ha!" And he's just so proud of that fact. It's beautiful. It's disturbing. God, it's just great to see Ben Affleck do that to himself. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. It's hilarious. Shout out Kevin Smith. You're awesome. Hey, that's 2 Kevin Smith movies. How about that?
Huh. I wonder if there'll be more.
Probably not. Cory, what do you got for number 7?
For my number 7, it's going to be some low-hanging fruit, but you got to give credit where it's due. Larry David as himself in HBO's Curb Your Enthusiasm. I mean, this is a show that has a rarity in the world of television where HBO, for quite some time, turned to him and said, you don't have to give us a season every year, just whenever you want. Open door.
That's wild. The man is a legend.
Yeah, the man is absolutely a legend through and through. At this point, everyone knows who he is, knows how he is, because he's always said, like, yeah, George is me in Seinfeld. So you get to see him being in, it's kind of like almost like it's a George spinoff, but it's just Larry David actually playing the role of George for once.
Just excellent.
Number 6.
All right, coming in at number 6, it is Nicolas Cage in 2022's The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. I feel like this is maybe also low-hanging fruit, but it's just so great, it also cannot be ignored. Cage gives us not one, but 2 performances as his present self and as his young self. His present self is played as irresponsible, narcissistic, disconnected from his family, and generally a messy deadbeat. His younger self is full of energy and completely unhinged, really embodying all the classic Cage performances that we know and love him for. It's great to see him do both. It's funny, it's touching, and it's just plain fun. Also, add to that the fact that he, as himself, has just terrific chemistry with Pedro Pascal, but then again, who doesn't? We should mention that the 2 Nicolas Cages do kiss at one point, and it's beautiful. It is massive talent. Corey, what do you got coming in at number 6?
I thought this was the one list where this wouldn't happen.
No.
Number 6, Nicolas Cage in 2022's The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
God damn it.
I figured we would have some overlap, but I did not figure it would literally be on the same exact number.
You just get me.
You get me.
Twinsies.
But yeah, no, this not only is the film fantastic, Nicolas Cage is giving an amazing performance. He just changes from like a satirical take on himself to a realistic take on himself seamlessly. So many funny moments in this film. I really wish that the script itself got nominated for Best Original Script because it deserved it, if we're just to be completely honest. But yeah, no, Nicolas Cage takes a good, long, hard look at himself and goes, I can make this into a movie. And it succeeds. And it succeeds because it's Nicolas Cage. The man just does weird things like this, and 9 times out of 10, it pays off.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It's unbearable.
It's massive.
It's weight.
What am I waiting for?
The talent, baby.
Hey!
Number 5.
All right, coming in at number 5 is Don Cheadle in Dave. Season 3, Episode 8, Met Gala. So while hiding in the bathroom, waiting for his chance to be in the big bathroom celebrity selfie at the Met Gala, Dave overhears a frantic Don Cheadle telling his publicist that the previous night he was on fentanyl and painted "fuck white people" across the crown of the Statue of Liberty, and it needs to get washed off right away. All capped off with the amazing delivery of the amazing line, "Of course on the inside. You fucking think I'm gonna scale the outside of the Statue of Liberty?" Like, his performance throughout that episode is amazing. I also love on the red carpet where they're like, "Don Cheadle, what are you working on next?" And he says, "I don't know, probably some Marvel shit." Like, it's terrific. I love it so much. There's so many great cameos in this season of Dave. I had to pick one. But yeah, Don Cheadle had me in stitches. Incredible.
I remember after watching that episode immediately messaging you and be like, please tell me you watched this so we could talk about it.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, we had to. All right, Corey, what you got for number 5?
All right, you're not going to believe this.
No.
You're right. No, it didn't happen. I chose Wayne Brady from Chappelle's Show, Season 2, Episode 12, Wayne Brady and Tyrone Bigum's Fear Factor. Wayne Brady plays a total parody of himself where he shows up to Dave's show, takes over the show because the network says he's more marketable, quote unquote. And the whole part of the show, they're showing like a few sketches here and there, but it's mostly Dave like plotting like, I'm going to get my show back. Like, I'm going to get my show back. Fuck you, Wayne Brady, yada, yada, yada. And at one point they show a flashback to end out the show where it's pretty much a Training Day like parody at that point, with Wayne Brady in the role of Denzel Washington's character and Dave Chappelle as Ethan Hawke's character. They start off right off the bat where Wayne Brady is like driving them around. They're having like a chat like, oh yeah, hanging out, black actors, right? Got to stick together. Wayne passes Dave a joint and it's just like, come on, man, you want to hit? And Dave's like, oh no, I'm good, man. And then Wayne just all of a sudden just turns very dark and sinister and goes, listen, if you don't hit this, we're going to have a fucking problem. And Dave hits it. Surprise, it's PCP. He kills a cop delivering the forever quotable line from the early 2000s, is Wayne Brady gonna have to choke a bitch?
Iconic.
This is so good and so funny, and the story of why this happened was Wayne Brady just wanted to prove, like, no, I'm not all just sunshine and rainbows, motherfucker. And I guess Wayne Brady had a problem with the line. He wanted to change it to something different. He wanted to be like, is Wayne Brady got to hurt someone or something like that. He tried to like pitch like 5 different ideas, but they were pretty adamant about, no, you have to say choke a bitch. And he did it.
Trying to prove that he's not all sunshine and politeness and rainbows. By the way, can I be more respectful to this female actress that I'm sharing a scene with? Thank you, sir.
He is such a treasure on this
Oh,
world.
really?
Like,
He really is.
he's so versatile when it comes to comedy, and this proved it right there and now. Like, we all knew him from Whose Line Is It Anyways. We all knew that he had a, talk show where he was just as charming and everything like that. This showed he has range, and unfortunately, people haven't really used him in this type of range since. But regardless, he gets my number 5 slot. This was a very easy choice to put him on this list.
Beautiful. I'm still upset that I never got to see him perform Aaron Burr in Hamilton.
God, that would have been absolutely amazing. Someone out there has to have a video of it.
I hope so.
Number 4.
All right, coming in at number 4 is Michael Cera in 2013's This Is the End. So while short, this performance stands out in a movie almost entirely consisting of celebrities playing themselves. For those that don't know, this movie is about a group of comedic actors who are all having a party at James Franco's house when the actual apocalypse happens, and they just try to survive as long as they can before everybody gets sucked into hell. So Cera, known for playing awkward, timid characters, plays himself here as an obnoxious, out-of-control cokehead at the party. He smacks Rihanna on the ass, which makes her immediately slap him and call him out. He blows coke in Christopher Mintz-Plassey's, aka McLovin's, face, who then says that he's never even tried coke before. He's yelling at people about where's his phone. He's being just like the absolute worst person, and it's wonderful to see him go against type like that. It's believable, and it makes it that much funnier when we see him get killed in the apocalypse pretty much at the start of it, just right off the bat. And then he's like, "Oh, there's my phone. It was in my pocket the whole time, guys." It's beautiful. I love when someone goes against type like that.
He probably has the best joke of the entire film, in my opinion. Hey, does this cocaine smell funny to you? And just throws a thing of cocaine into somebody's face. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Nobody should do that. That's really shitty, but holy crap, it's funny because it's like you said, it's against type. It's Michael Cera throwing cocaine in people's faces. You'd never see it coming. It's fantastic.
Love it. Corey, what you got for number 4?
So for my number 4, I have Neil Patrick Harris from the Harold and Kumar film franchise. 3 films. One of them is really, really good. The other 2 are just okay, but Neil Patrick Harris is always on point in these films. He shows up out of nowhere. This is pre How I Met Your Mother days. He hasn't been seen in the spotlight, honestly, since his days playing Doogie Howser, MD, on TV. And that's instantly what Harold and Kumar go for. They're like, wait, is that Neil Patrick Harris? Like Doogie Howser? And he's like, yeah, what's up, guys? Again, so playing a complete parody of himself, a womanizing, like, felony committing, drug using, like, version of Neil Patrick Harris, who is an absolute party animal, but is totally chill about it at the same time, with just that smooth charisma that he carries with himself while he just, stole somebody's car or decide, like, I just did a whole bunch of blow and I'm just going to go take a nap real quick. That type of energy, it's fantastic. If it wasn't for him getting into this role, he never would have played Barney in How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, he is the best part of an already really great movie.
And 2 okay movies.
Actually, I'd say the first 2 are great, and then the third one is just meh.
I have problems with the second one, but I feel like that's a conversation for a whole other time.
Fair.
But Steve, we're about to hit our top 3.
Oh, our top 3.
That's right, the top 3. Now, before we get to our top 3, folks, I hate to do it to you, but we got to take one more quick commercial break. Be right back.
I kind of like to do it to you.
Welcome back, folks.
Howdy!
Steve,
Cory.
you know how we do, and we got to get to this top list. We got to complete it out. We got 3 left. Are you ready for it?
Let's go.
Number 3.
All right, coming in at number 3 for me is James Vanderbeek in Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23. And again, that's every episode because once again, this is a main character in the show as himself. Him aside, Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23 is just such a fun show. Largely because Kristen Ritter's character, Chloe, is just so entertaining, so interesting, so just mind-bogglingly amazing. One of many interesting facts about her is that her best friend in the world truly just happens to be James Vanderbeek, the actor. She's just that cool. And he brings the perfect balance of sassy, manipulative sidekick and famous, insecure, narcissistic actor. This show coming out in 2012 is obviously more than a decade removed from the glory days of Dawson's Creek, and that definitely comes across in his character. It feels like a 3-dimensional realistic celebrity, but he still lets the show not be about him. Like he'll have B stories about like training to be on Dancing with the Stars or about putting out his own line of jeans, but it's always just like something that's happening in the B story. Well, Chloe's the focus because she's Chloe. She's the bee in Apartment 23, and I trust her. So does James.
Excellent choice, sir. I love that show. Only 2 seasons is all we got of that, and it's a travesty.
Absolutely. When we eventually do our top 10 2-season shows, look out for that one. So, Cory, what you got coming in at number 3?
So for my number 3, I've got Drew Carey from TV's The Drew Carey Show. Now, The Drew Carey Show aired on ABC starting back in the mid-90s, lasting until the early 2000s. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. Drew is playing a fictional version of himself as someone who didn't get into comedy. He decided instead to go work at a department store, which he's worked at for 15 years. The show itself is a great look into what office culture is when you feel like you are just stuck at this never-ending job. You're never going to get to where you want to be, no matter how hard you work. And he just plays this lovable goofball of a guy who is just trying to make something out of his life. You can't not root for him while watching this show. And he brings a lot of depth. At times, it's not just all fun and games. That he does tackle things like acceptance of being overweight. There's a few episodes on that. He does the musical episodes. He's singing, he's dancing, doing everything in between. The man is pulling out all the stops, bringing his A game. I can't think of sitcoms and not put this in my top 10. And it's mostly because it's Drew Carey, man.
Fair. And if I may channel fictional Drew for a minute. Hey, everybody, look at me. I'm in the top 3.
Number 2.
All right. Coming in at number 2 is esteemed character actress Margot Martindale from BoJack Horseman. This is a character that occurs throughout the show and has a really just amazing progression. So Margot has been in everything, and she reliably delivers top-notch performances as a seemingly endless list of supporting characters. And the version of herself that she plays in BoJack will not let anyone forget that, as well as the fact that she is smart and devious and a master criminal. As the series progresses, we see her transform from just another celebrity in a show about Hollywood to a full-blown mastermind, pulling off these ridiculous heists, going into hiding, witness protection, but also still being esteemed character actress Margot Martindale and still making movies because she can't not, because she's amazing. Every step of the way, she exudes confidence and pure, unwavering badassery. And thanks to that show, I can never just say her legal name. It is always, now and forever, esteemed character actress Margot Martindale.
As it should be, sir. As it should be. Excellent decision. My God, yeah. Anyone here who doesn't know who that is, go look at her filmography. Go look at all the movies she's been in. Go look at all of the TV shows that she's been in. Go look at all of the stage productions she's been in. She is phenomenal.
You've probably seen 10 things that she's been in, and you've loved her performances. You just don't know her name. Hey, Cory, what you got coming in at number 2?
For my number 2, Steve, I've got Adam West in TV's animated series Family Guy. So he plays a fictionalized version of himself as Mayor Adam West, mayor of Quahog, the city town in which Family Guy takes place. So as somebody who really enjoys listening to director commentaries on things, Family Guy did, of course, put out DVDs of the first 3 seasons. And I bought them all. I listened to all of the director's commentary, and anytime Adam West would come on screen, they would always say, it didn't matter what we gave this man. He never questioned a single line, and he always gave everything his all. When we needed something a certain way, he just hit it. Like he was an absolute professional. Again, I love it when celebs get weird, and he just had no shame in some of the things he would say. Like sitting there and talking about how, like, plants are stealing the water, and he spent millions of dollars of the city's money to get it, or picking up a cat and just starts laughing because the cat has a human name.
I was actually just about to mention that. Yeah.
It's fantastic. It's God.
That bit is legendary.
Family Guy is iconic, even though if it's gone on way longer than it should have. Adam West is absolutely a part of that legacy, and I just had to put him on my number 2 spot, man. He is one of the reasons I loved the first few seasons of that show.
Yeah, great choice. Also, funny enough, he cameoed on The Drew Carey Show as well. Not as himself, but with Burt Ward as a married couple, and they were adorable together.
But Steve, we're about to hit that number 1.
Yeah, but before we do, we could only fit 10 on these lists, and obviously this is something that there are a lot more than 10 celebrities playing themselves and doing it extraordinarily well. So why don't we just take a moment and each pick just like an honorable mention, something that got close to the top 10 but just didn't quite make it.
Honorable mention.
So my honorable mention is from the 2009 film Fanboys. For those who are not aware, it is loosely based on the true story of a group of friends who in 1998 broke into Skywalker Ranch in order to obtain an early copy of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, because their friend had terminal cancer and would not live long enough to see the premiere. That's about the only thing this film has in common with that story. They turned it into just like a fun, wacky mid-2000s road trip comedy. But what really makes it is the cameos. There's so many just like Star Wars cameos and shout outs. It's just a love letter to the franchise in the best way. Story-wise, not great, but everything else, wonderful. Like you got Carrie Fisher, you got Billy D. Williams, you got Ray Park. There's stuff all over there's so much to enjoy. But one cameo here stands above the rest, and let me set the stage for you. The group of folks have found a source of like the plans for Skywalker Ranch, the blueprints, finding their way in, planning their heist. And it's through a shady contact, through like third parties, and all they know is they have to go to a certain building in Vegas, I believe, go to a certain hall and use the code phrase, Scruffy Nerf Herder. Scruffy Nerf Herder is, of course, one of the names that Leia calls Han. So they're kind of implying that we're going to maybe get a Harrison Ford cameo here. So they go, turns out they're at a Star Trek convention. They say Scruffy Nerf Herder. They get sent to this back room without a word being said to them. And that's when none other than William Shatner walks in, providing them with the plans that they need and the blueprints. And as himself, that's the last person they expected. They are very anti-Star Trek throughout this movie. And he just says with all the confidence in the world, William Shatner, you can get anything. It's amazing. It's a wonderful, wonderful cameo. It's unexpected, and it really just makes the movie. It's so much fun. I love it. Also, Jay and Silent Bob make cameos. That is Jay and Silent Bob, but still. Cory, who are you going to honorably mention?
So my honorable mention, Steve, is from the original Muppet Show, Season 4, Episode 17, The Stars of Star Wars, one Mark Hamill. It's funny that your honorable mention has to do with Star Wars, and funny enough, so does mine. Mark Hamill plays himself in The Muppet Show. He also plays his cousin, Luke Skywalker, just interchangeably throughout the episode. He, again, just an absolute delight. He is so much fun just playing himself. It's obviously very tongue-in-cheek because, it's the Muppet Show from the 70s. It's a lot of song and dance and hokey family fun, but it's good hokey family fun. He seemed like he was having the time of his life. So that is my honorable mention, Mr. Mark Hamill.
Just a perpetual delight, no matter what he does.
All right, Steve, we're there. We're at the tippity top, number 1 of our top 10 list of celebrities playing themselves.
Number 1.
All right, coming in at number 1 for me. This is a fairly recent one, but it has stuck with me, and that is Liam Neeson in Atlanta, season 3, episode 8, New Jazz. So after trying some extra special space cakes with Darius at a coffee shop in Amsterdam, Al, aka Paperboy, explores the city and has a profound introspective encounter with a strange woman who eventually leads him to a hidden away little bar called the Cancel Club. Al orders a drink and notices that he is right next to none other than Liam Neeson. Liam addresses his recent controversy, wherein he publicly stated he wanted to kill a black man as revenge for raping his friend. Obviously, since then, Liam has clarified and learned and grown and done the work, and is definitely in a better spot now, and has acknowledged the shortcomings of that and all that. So Liam and Al are discussing the repercussions of that incident and how it affected Liam. And right when you think he's going to say that, he's learned his lesson, that he's grown, that he's a better person now, Al asks if he's cool with black people now. Liam's response, though, is that he didn't before, but now he hates the lot of them because of how much the black community tried to ruin his career. And then they just kind of leave it at that. In true Atlanta fashion, that doesn't give you a tight bow to wrap everything up, that doesn't give you clear answers, that doesn't give you, a nice sugar-coated fairy tale ending that you expect from a comedy show. People like that exist, and it's amazing to me that Liam would do that as himself, addressing something so real and obviously very sensitive to him. And I did a little bit of research, and it turns out he only agreed to do this after he talked with Jordan Peele for a while. Donald had asked Jordan to reach out to Liam and convinced him that this was the right move for his growth and for his career, and nail on the head, man. Incredible.
You love to see it. I love seeing when actors are able to take some mistakes that they've done, because we're all always learning here. You and I are included in that. And
Absolutely.
When you can take something like that in your life and apply it to your craft, I think it's just all the more of a beautiful performance in that moment. So cheers to Liam Neeson for doing the work and learning why what he said was wrong. And even better for him to be so vulnerable in such a bit role that at the end of the day doesn't really make or break his career.
Absolutely. And it's just astounding to me that Atlanta got Liam Neeson. Incredible. Cory, what is your number 1 celebrity playing themselves?
Well, Steve, I have gone with some royalty for mine.
Okay.
No, I'm not talking about a king. No, I'm not talking about a queen. I'm not even talking about a duke or duchess.
I know where you're going with this.
You sure do, Steve, because of course I am talking about Prince. In TV's New Girl, Season 3, Episode 14, titled Prince. Now, in the episode, Jess and Cece are invited to a party that are held at Prince's house. Jess's boyfriend, Nick, tells her he loves her. She gives him not the response he was looking for. So Nick, in a fit of jealousy, takes his other roommates and crashes Prince's party so that Nick can speak with Jess and they can have a talk about their feelings. While they are there, walking around mid-argument, Prince appears in front of them and they give the exact response that I would give which is screaming, screaming, screaming in joy, and then Nick passes out. I am a huge Prince fan. I have been a huge Prince fan since I started listening to his music in high school. Prince is top tier, the greatest musician to ever live, in my opinion, through and through, an amazing individual, just the epitome of cool at the end of the day. For him to go onto a sitcom and also play such a pivotal role in the show, because he gets Nick and Jess to talk about their feelings, and for Jess to tell Nick that she loves him as well. And then their relationship is pretty much permanent for the rest of the series. We love New Girl here. And this is such a moment so crucial to the show to happen. And to have Prince be the mediator between these two makes it so much better for me. I remember not having seen New Girl, but when my wife told me, Prince is in an episode, I jumped right in. I'm like, yep, let's go. Prince. All the live long day. Love Prince so much. So yeah, number one spot, no question.
So did you go right to the Prince episode, or did you start at the beginning?
I started at season 2.
That is the correct choice.
I had already seen season 1, and that's also why I never started season 2, because I'm like, this is pretty standard. And then a lot of people, yourself included, told me, no, it gets weirder in a good way. Just watch it again. So,
Yeah, no, season 2 is when New Girl starts being New Girl. Yeah, and great choice. I love that he gives them permission to freak out. Like, he talks to them first and they're just frozen. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't give you time to freak out. You may. Just beautiful. Incredible.
So good. God. I could talk about Prince for hours. I know exactly where I was when Prince died. I know exactly what I did. I stood up from my cubicle. I announced to everybody in my office building, I want everyone to know Prince has died. And I sat back down, processing everything. My manager comes up to me, hey, what's going on? And I'm like, Prince died. I'm not okay. Can I go home? She laughed and walked away, but I legitimately was not okay and really wanted to go home.
Also, just randomly going to throw out there, if anyone out there has not listened to Janelle Monáe's album Dirty Computer, it was produced and largely written by Prince, and was one of the last things he did before he died.
And while you're at it, listen to the whole Prince discography. Thank me later.
Oh, yeah. Just go ahead. We'll wait.
Well, see, we won't wait for very long, because that's our top 10 list.
Oh, yeah. So there you go, audience. Who's got the top 10? Vote for me, or don't vote.
And there's only one place you guys can vote, and that's multiple places. That's on our YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook page. Give us a comment, shoot us a message, shoot us a text, and we'll tell you to post on one of the pages. But either way, get us those votes ASAP.
Get that engagement.
All right, folks, we got through our top 10. We got one more segment to do. But before we get to that, we need one more quick commercial break. We'll be right back. Just stay there.
Buy me something.
What do you want?
$10 million.
I'm going to have to go to a few stores for that, but we'll see what I can do.
All right, if you could be back by like 8. Hey, folks, did you know that we're a couple of corporate whores? We will do whatever you say for money. That's right. We'll give an ad that promises the world to your potential customers for whatever you're trying to sell. Is it true? Doesn't matter. Is it going to work? Still doesn't matter. Give us $5, give us $10. We'll make all your dreams come true, as long as your dreams are limited to having your product hawked on our podcast.
But Steve, what if I don't have an advertisement written for you?
Well, for a small extra fee, we can write one for you, aka make one up on the spot and half-ass it.
That's right, folks. If you have any interest in advertising with us, please hit us up on our Instagram at That Sounds Terrible Pod, or find us on Twitter by looking up That Sounds Terrible. Go on.
Slide into our DMs so we can slide into your ads. We're going to do an ad for you.
That's right, folks. Fill our bank accounts so we can line your pockets with that sweet, sweet internet money. Welcome back, folks.
Oh, hey, you made it. What'd you get me?
You know what, Steve? I got you just a little something. It's your favorite, my favorite, and everyone's favorite segment.
Oh, the Untitled Ben Affleck segment?
That's right, Steve. It's As Played by Ben Affleck.
Untitled Ben Affleck segment.
Now, for those who've never listened in, As Played by Ben Affleck
Untitled Ben Affleck segment
is when we choose someone from our number one slot of our top 10 list, because it's a top 10 list episode, with Ben Affleck. Now, we have to choose which of the three eras of Ben Affleck that we are replacing that person with. So, first off, we have the Good Will Hunting era Ben Affleck, which is when he was the indie darling, just starting to get into action films. Next up, we have the Jiggly era Ben Affleck. This is the rom-coms, starting around the release of the Jiggly film. Finally, we have Batfleck era Ben Affleck, where he's older, more chiseled, and got that beautiful salt and pepper beard. Now, that being said, Steve, which era of Ben Affleck are you replacing with your top choice, and why?
Well, since we're looking at Liam Neeson in Atlanta, or Liam Neeson in Amsterdam, I suppose, I am going to be replacing him with Batfleck era Ben Affleck. One, because Liam is a very tall man, which gives him just like a good it's a good balanced shot between him and Brian Tyree Henry, who plays Al. And so I think the extra bulk of Batfleck would compensate for that. Also, just feel like an older guy discussing how his racism has changed is more believable than a younger guy, even one from Boston. So, Corey, what era of Ben Affleck are you replacing your number one with?
I think I'm also going to have to go with Batfleck era Ben Affleck on this one. I think it would work better as, hey, we're going to a party at Ben Affleck's place. Oh my God, you're going to go see Ben Affleck. Like, you got to see people fangirling over Ben Affleck, and all of a sudden he just appears at this party and he just has like a sit down and a very serious conversation with the two, like, all right, talk about your emotions, go. I think that having him as the older version of that, it shows better that they grew up looking at him as an icon, as a legend, which, let's be honest, he is. So you get the mentor aspect from that. And then you also get to show like, oh, Ben Affleck's like actually a really cool, chill, down to earth guy, which to my understanding, he is. He's very just cool, calm, collected, just kind of does whatever he wants. The only people he really gets pissed off at are the paparazzi, and rightfully so.
Right on.
All right, folks, and that's going to wrap up As Played by Ben Affleck.
Untitled Ben Affleck segment.
And of course, it's going to wrap up this episode. Wow. You know, Steve, it really has been forever since we've done a top 10 list.
Glad we got back into it. Let's do more. Probably at some point it'll happen. Maybe.
Yeah, you know, it'll be another 6 months. It's fine.
Totes.
But Steve, in any case, what are we doing next time?
Oh, Corey, next week we are going to Second Star to the Right and Straight On Till Morning with 1991's Hook. Very excited for this. It's one that I grew up watching all the time. It's excellent. I'm really excited to revisit it.
Me as well. Honestly, one of my favorite films of all time, with so many legendary actors, and I really can't wait to get into this. I guarantee you it's going to end up being a 3-hour episode, and I'm not sorry about it.
Yeah. But don't worry, we're really good at talking about stuff. So give us a listen for a couple minutes and you will be hooked. Like the movie.
Steve, if you ask me, that's pretty appealing.
Now you're just pandering.
Well, you know what, folks? We're going to have to get out of here. We'll catch you next time. Just be sure. Second Star to the Right, Straight On Till Morning. And we'll see you there. I've been Corey.
And I've been Steve. In a while, Crocodile.
Bye.
Bye. Have you ever heard of diamonds? It's not a garage, it's a carriage house.